there was a physical part of me that was implanted in her, and which met a physical part of her that came together to form the embryo that formed our children, the ones we lost and the two that we have. So the physical carrying is not the only, should not be, ought not to be the only indicator for who gets to grieve and who does not get to grieve openly, or who gets to be considered and who does not get to be considered. And that in itself makes the argument of physical anything a moot point. Because if my wife was the one who woke up one day and was like, I am going to self-generate a child, then absolutely, I have no stake in the game. It would be entirely up to her, and that's the end of it. Yeah, then now you can look at me and be like, hey, yo, bro, like, why are we tripping for? You had no involvement in this. But we do, though.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, I think a lot of it just ends up being, it's just societally, you're supposed to be okay. You're just supposed to be emotionless out of this entire process because you're the man. And I'm like, if that were the case, men would never raise their children. Like, they would have no emotional attachment to them. Like, as soon as I found out that we were going to have a baby, I got so hyper focused on making sure this child was going to be brought into this world correctly and with the best possible chance I could give it, and to know that I had worked so hard to then get to this point that I could give him the best life that I possibly could. It got taken away from me emotionally and physically, because he was going to be half of me. He's going to be my, better half or worse half, who has any idea at this point, but he was going to be everything. He's going to be half of me and half of her, and that was going to be this whole new human that shared, me. It's a hard thing to kind of put into perspective. Like, yes, he would have been his own human, but I would have had a nature and a nurturing part of it, and to have that future, that idea, that what would he have been? I will always have to ask myself that question. It's every memory. The first Christmas is coming up. I mean, I'm almost at my last year of firsts, and every first has been really difficult, and I'm almost to the last first birthday will be the last of first. And every time, last Christmas I thought about where we should have been. This Christmas I'll think about where we should be. And that is so powerful in my brain of I remember where my nephew was his first Christmas, and now it would have been my son's first Christmas and his first Thanksgiving. What would we have done? I thought about this last month. What would we have put him in as for Halloween this last month? I thought about that, and I was like, what would we have done? I have no idea. But I have all of these what ifs and should have beens and could have beens, but I just don't have physically him anymore. He just never got to this part of life. And I feel bad for that too. For some reason I feel guilty in that way for him he never got to experience life. And it's a whole different part of my brain that gets lit up with wow, I don't know, he never got to experience life, and life is this gift that one day you just wake up, and he never got to wake up. And it's a weird thing in my brain too but it just adds to what would he have been, who would he have been. And so for people to just think that my wife is the only one that lost this baby is crazy, because I equally lost, only because he was 50% and 50%. The rest of it, the physical part of it, is traumatic and I feel horrible, but it's just a different kind of the same loss. And I just don't want people, the men matter too. They're half of the equation in this entire thing.